Before discussing the 6 steps involved in commodity Murabaha as shown in your screen, let us have first a further information about commodity Murabaha. A commodity Murabaha is like the basic Murabaha transaction, a deferred payment sale or installment credit sale, and uses a commodity, usually a base metal, as the underlying asset for the transaction. The price of the commodity, the markup, the delivery date, and repayment date are agreed upfront. The intention of this transaction is to replicate conventional money market transactions, that is, the interbank market. The banks do not typically hold the underlying commodity nor have a requirement for it. The metals are purchased and sold solely to facilitate the transaction in accordance with the Sharia principles. Due to the fact that commodity Murabaha transactions are fixed rate, they are typically short term. However, some have a long duration. The commodity Murabaha is executed using a commodity as the underlying asset, which has to be non-perishable, freely available, and uniquely identifiable. Any commodities that were originally used as a means of exchange or money, that is gold, silver, barley, dates, wheat, and salt, are not acceptable. The majority of commodity Murabaha transactions use London Metal Exchange (LME) base metals as an asset since they meet all criteria for a commodity and are easily identifiable via warrants. They called it LME warrants. An LME warrant is a certificate for a specific metric tonnage of an approved brand of metal stored in an LME approved warehouse. The warrant is a bearer document and signifies ownership of the underlying metal to the holder. In this practical example, using commodity Murabaha to deposit 1 million pounds with the bank's counterparty, there are 6 steps involved. Number 1, the Islamic bank buys warrants from a metal broker. The ownership of the warrants transfers from the metal broker to the Islamic bank. The Islamic bank purchases warrants for the value of the deposit, the 1 million pounds. The second step, after buying the warrants from a metal broker, of course, the Islamic bank pays spot. The bank initiates payment of 1 million pesos to the metal broker spot in return for the warrants. The third step, the Islamic bank sells warrants to the counterparty. The Islamic bank sells the warrants to its counterparty on a deferred payment basis and agrees that the counterparty will pay for the warrants in 3 months' time, for example, for an amount of 1.05 million pounds, as compared to the original purchase price of 1 million pounds. The fourth step, the counterparty requests the Islamic bank to sell warrants on its behalf. The Islamic bank is requested to act as an agent on behalf of the counterparty to sell the warrants at spot and facilitates the sale. The Islamic bank then sells the warrants at the spot price of 1 million pounds to a metal broker. Thereafter, fifth step, payment from end buyer to the counterparty. That is the metal broker. The end buyer pays the counterparty spot in return for the warrants. In this example, the metal broker pays 1 million pounds to the counterparty using the Islamic bank as an agent to facilitate payment. At this point, during the transaction, the counterparty is in the possession of 1 million pounds and does not have to pay the Islamic bank until 3 months later, when he will have to pay 1.05 million pounds to the Islamic bank. The last and the final step is that is the payment from counterparty to Islamic bank. This payment takes place at a pre-agreed time in the future and consists of the principal of the original purchase, the 1 million pounds, plus a pre-agreed markup of 0.05 million pounds. So these are the 6 steps involved in commodity murabaha, where the parties involved are as follows: the Islamic bank, the method broker, and the counterparty of the bank for the purpose of facilitating cash generation or liquidity.